In high school and Pee Wee football and all that stuff. I went through all that, and then, finally make it to the point where, you get schools calling, scholarships offered, and all
that. Must have been a great time right there.
Yeah, that was a really exciting time. It definitely was, but at the same time, it definitely brought me down to earth because I recognized that I put so much effort into the football portion. I didn't put it into the schoolwork, and once that portion came around, I lost a lot of opportunities because the grades weren't there. The ability and skill was there, but the grades weren't there, and I ended up getting an offer from a junior college, Harper College in Palatine, Illinois. I ended up going there, and that whole deal with usually with junior colleges like that, you usually play like 2 years there, and then you look to try to get recruited or picked up by bigger schools, D1 schools. And my first year there, I was All-American when I was there, and had a good start to my season. And was starting as a freshman. Was just on my way to go into the direction that I wanted to go in and going to a D1 school, and then everything processed from there. But I ended up suffering a knee injury that kind of just wasn't a serious knee injury, but it kind of put me on a shelf for the rest of the season. And just during that time, I started to think to myself, you know what, if this is the type of damage that you're taking now on this level, then what are you going to do in the future when you want to run around with your kids, you want to do these different things with your kids? And I just started thinking that, it really wasn't my passion anymore. So I stepped away from football and just tried to focus on school. And once I did that, that felt uncomfortable because I never understood how to be a student. So I had to try to do that. And so football kind of slowly moved away from me and moved into a different direction. I definitely appreciate the time that I had playing the sport. Appreciate that time because I was able to be around a lot of good coaches, a lot of good people that taught me a lot of things about character and leadership and how to be a role model. So I definitely appreciate that time that I had in my short football career.
In that being said, was it then a difficult time when you were away from football and just what am I going to do now with my life now that football is over? Was that one of the hardest parts of your journey so far? No.
Yeah, it was definitely a very, very depressing time for me. I was a college kid. I was just kind of shut everything down. I had stopped going to classes because I just felt like I was so behind with everything and I didn't know what I was doing. And I would see my roommates leaving for football practice, and I would just be really, really depressed. And I actually started partying more, drinking more, doing the typical college things, but on a level that was almost turned into a level of addiction almost, of trying to, cover up the depression that I was feeling from the idea that I wasn't going to play football anymore, and I was uncomfortable, unsure what I was going to do in my life. And that's how I actually ended up coming into mixed martial arts. A really good friend of mine from high school actually ended up going to a college that was near my college, and happened to live in the same apartment complex that I did. And he was actually had a long time background in karate and taekwondo and things of that nature. And he ended up introducing me to mixed martial arts because I had a wrestling background. He invited me to come to Midwest Training Center where he was training at the time, just to do some of the wrestling classes, just to get myself off the couch and away from this spiral towards depression, deep depression, and addiction, and just partying, just throwing my life away completely. He was trying to redirect me and get me back doing something, at least competing again, and that's what I was doing in the gym. And that's kind of almost how MMA fell into my lap, and I've just ran with it.
And it's something that I don't want to speak for you, but you have fallen in love with MMA. This is something you really enjoy doing.
Yeah, definitely. I love this sport. At my core, I love competing, and I love competing at a high level. I love testing my character at all times, testing not just my character, but how far can I push my body? How far can I push my mindset, my will, my power, and just see how far I can push myself. And just being able to be in this sport on an individual level, you have no one you can blame. You have to take full credit and responsibility for everything. And you have to go out there and be 100% focused, 100% rely on yourself, and compete at a very, very high level. And that's one thing I've loved about this sport, not just mixed martial arts. That part came a long time. It took time to build that passion for actually loving mixed martial arts. But my competitive nature is the thing that I found that helped me get through a lot of this until I hit that point where I was learning more about mixed martial arts, learning how to love mixed martial arts, and that's the reason why I think I've been so passionate, because I found that combination between the two where I can be very competitive and I can have a love for the game and a love for the sport, and continue to love to learn, continue to love to work with new coaches, new training partners, new faces, all these different things. And that has made my love for this whole thing just greater all the time.